Hi guys, and welcome back to another video. If you're new here, my name's Ebony and I've been living in Japan for the last 2 months. I recently visited Tokyo and I stayed in one of the famous capsule hotels and they recorded me in my sleep. Okay, so let's rewind here. So I stayed at the famous 9-hour Capsule Hotel in Shinjuku. This is a women's only capsule hotel, which I found more comfortable and more safe. And the concept of the 9-hour Capsule Hotel is that it's all about simplicity. It's based on the idea that you spend 9 hours at the hotel. So this is 1 hour to shower, 7 hours to sleep, and 1 hour to get ready and go. And that's basically the concept of 9 hours. So you'll find a lot of these capsule hotels across different locations within the whole of Japan. I actually stayed at the one in Shinjuku and this was women's only. So I actually stayed there during peak season, which is cherry blossom season or sakura season, which is how they refer to it in Japan. And for one night, it cost me a total of 18,000 yen, which is about $130. There was another capsule hotel based near Shibuya, but this was like double the price. So I opted for this. I do think this is on the more pricier side because you are technically staying in a glorified hostel, but the experience that you get, it's super clean, super modern. And yeah, I think it is worth the price and the locations are very good. I was staying in one of the main areas within Tokyo. But when you get there, the check-in process is super easy. You can book online and you'll receive a QR code in your email. Once you arrive, you just use this QR code. There is actually no reception desk there. So you just go in and you'll see there's a big screen with a wall. You scan your QR code, you put in all of your details and then it will deliver you your key. And this key is used to get to all of the different floors in the building and to also open your locker. So it's something you can't lose. Even though there is no check-in desk, if you do need help, there was a window, which I believe there's someone sitting behind. So if there's any issues with your check-in process, I think you can always knock on there and there'll be someone, a real life human there to assist you with the check-in if needed. So I checked in and went straight down to my locker to check it out. So I'm pod 302 and I'm actually on the basement floor. Well, my locker is on the basement floor, sorry. So it's good because it actually shows you where all the lockers are and I can see that mine is literally just around the corner. And then you can see everyone's lockers here and it's just activated by a little QR code that you scan here that's on your room card. In your locker you get a bag full of goodies. Let's see what we got. Okay, so we've got like 2 or 3 towels. Of course, the famous pajamas, which you can wear. Slippers, because you're not really meant to wear your shoes. A toothbrush, which is fab, because I didn't pack mine, because I didn't have space. And then there's just a whole list of rules and information about your stay. So everyone gets pajamas, which is great because I was just traveling light, which means I didn't need to pack my own. I will say, however, they weren't the comfiest. So if you do have space to pack your own, I'd recommend this. So in the bag, you also get a couple of towels, also some slippers. There was also a toothbrush and toothpaste in there, which I did take advantage of. The lockers that you get are absolutely huge. So if you are traveling with a suitcase, you can actually fit them in. There's a compartment in the middle, which actually lifts up, which allows you to make it bigger if you've got a big suitcase, or even stack 2 cases on top of each other, which I saw some people doing. So you don't need to travel light if you don't want to. So the lockers are really big. You get like a couple of hangers and then there's like a shelf in the middle. This bag is actually full of like your towels, pajamas. We'll go through that in a minute. And then there's even space underneath. You can actually see here that this actually flips up, so if you have a really big tall suitcase you can shove them all in. I think the sizes are actually on the website if you wanted to have a look and figure out before you come if you have big suitcases. So the lockers are located within the sort of bathroom area. There was a whole load of private showers and that came with all of your shampoo, conditioner, body soap. They were really nice and super clean. There was also an area to brush your teeth with loads of mirrors. This was a female only capsule hotel, so all of the girls are obviously going to be wanting to do their hair, their makeup, so there was loads of mirrors and lots of space so no one was in each other's way. And they also offered hair dryers. There wasn't anything like straighteners or anything like that, just a basic hair dryer, which I think is enough just for maybe one night. So after I checked out the lockers and dropped off my stuff, I went up to the co-working space or the sort of rest area. Within the pods, you're actually not allowed to speak. So this is the sort of area that you can go and actually relax outside of your little pod. I went up there and I actually had some work to do, so I jumped on my laptop and did that. But one thing I really noticed about this capsule hotel is that it was very, very quiet. It is very focused around sleep. It's a place to go, literally rest and leave. There wasn't much talking even in the co-working space. It was really nice in there. There was a locker if you wanted to get a snack or some water. They also had a whole bowl full of earplugs if you needed, and a whole load of plugs. So a lot of people were coming up there to charge their phone and sit on TikTok as well, to be outside of the sleep pod to not make noise for the other guests. Right, So once I'd finished up with my work, we headed down to the sleep pod and I was so excited to see what this was like. On your key card, you actually get your floor number and also what pod you're in. So I think I was on the 2nd floor. I headed on down and found my pod. I was on one of the top pods and I got in and it was surprisingly so spacious. I was so impressed. I do feel like if you're a little bit claustrophobic, maybe this isn't the experience for you, but for me, honestly, I found it really cozy.
So we're in the sleep pod now, and there's a few people in here.
So inside the pod, you get a duvet, which was really nice and cozy, and also this sort of rounded pillow, which is a special pillow designed by Makuro no Kitamura. I'm reading it off the screen there, which is designed to support the natural movements of your sleep. So within the pod as well, you also get USB slots and a tiny little ledge for you to put your stuff. So I put my contact lenses on there just so I was ready for the morning, and also to put your phone, you can plug that in within the pod, which is great. You also have a light inside your pod which you can control, so you can make it lighter or brighter or completely turn it off. And then there's also a screen which is sort of like a blind which you can pull down when you're going to sleep or if you want privacy. So when I said I got recorded in my sleep, this is what I mean. The 9 Hours Capsule Hotel in Shinjuku actually offers a sleep analysis. And since it was the same price, I decided to do it. Yes, they do record you, but it's only from your neck up. So I thought, what's the worst they're gonna see? Maybe me snoring a little bit. So I did the sleep analysis and a week later, I got the results back. You can see here in the pod, there is cameras, loads of different contraptions that are analyzing you while you sleep. And then a week later, I got my results back. So you can see my results on the screen here. I don't snore at all, apparently, even though some people were snoring in their sleep. I woke up a couple of times in the night, which I think is pretty normal when you're staying in a different kind of place, especially somewhere like a capsule or a hostel where you know there's no lock on your door. So you're a little bit more on edge and a little bit more aware. So I think this was maybe just because of that. But yeah, overall, it rated that I had good sleep, and there's a little picture of my face while I'm asleep there, which is kind of funny. So within the pods, it's actually super quiet. They do ask you not to speak when you're in there and not to make any noise as to not disturb other guests. So it was a little bit uncomfortable because any sort of movement you made or any noise, you felt a little bit awkward. But I completely get it. People are there to sleep and they don't want to be woken up by people talking or people on their phones. I was a bit concerned though about setting an alarm for the morning to make sure I woke up on time. The checkout time was quite early. It was about 10 a.m. So I wanted to make sure I woke up early enough to get ready in case the showers were busy, which they weren't, but just in case. But I did hear a few other people's alarms going off, so I knew that it was fine that I also had an alarm. I think this is something very standard within hostels and capsule hotels. It's something we can't really avoid. Overall, my experience was amazing. I think the location was really good in Shinjuku. It was super close to all of the top spots there and also the metro. So if you are getting the train there and you have lots of suitcases, it's not that far to walk. I would say the price was quite reasonable. I do understand that I did go in at peak season, Sakura season, so maybe it was a little bit more expensive compared to a normal average week, but it was one of the most affordable options that I found compared to some other capsule hotels and also obviously hotels. So yeah, that was my experience of the capsule hotel. I think it was really fun and I actually really enjoyed the experience. It was something unique and something I really wanted to do when I went to Japan. I'd love to hear in the comments if you've ever tried a capsule hotel, and do let me know if you have any questions. I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you're not subscribed already, please go and hit that subscribe button. Thank you so much for watching and I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Bye.